So we just had this Draymond Green press conference. And if this wasn't proof positive how fucked up our not only Bay Area sports media, but media in general is, I don't know what is. You talk about a perfect illustration of the toy department, as they call it. First off, a little background. Draymond Green is the star forward of the Golden State Warriors, a defensive marvel. He's good. He has had a checkered career, though, because he's missed time from suspensions for his behavior on the court, not off the court, but on the court. Lots of bizarre, frankly, um, very troubling interactions with players and officials. I don't want to get embedded too much in the sports angle of this because it has very little to do with what I'm about to bitch about. So he's been suspended again, and he just came off his suspension. It was amounted to like about a 12-game suspension, and he's coming back. He's already been back, but he hasn't been on the court. So they have this press conference today in San Francisco, and he met the media, and the only thing missing was a violin concerto, right? Now, this guy, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I don't play one. I don't even guess. But the guy has some problems. It's very evident. Don't know the extent. It might be just sports related and not more than that. But he's obviously got what they call anger management issues, right? So he's back. They had a press conference today. And, he tried to be contrite and he tried to say that he's going to change. And, it's been a 3-week suspension. And the Bay Area sports press is known to be very soft, kid gloves territory. And they're asking these questions and they're supposedly very compassionate and very, very reluctant to be combative to him. Well, what the hell are you? What's your job? Your job is not to be uh, compassionate. Your job is to ask questions, to ask tough, penetrating questions. And if Draymond Green doesn't want to answer them, or if he's reluctant to say specifically about his condition and all that, so be it. But to just beg off and to be compassionate for the sake of being compassionate, that's not your job. You've already indicated your foolishness, sports media of the Bay Area, by the kind of stupid, dumb, inane questions. We have no sports media here. They are the toy department. Okay. This is a major news story. It's not really a sports story. It happens to involve a sports player, in this case, Draymond Green. But to ask these dumb, inane, sophomoric questions is first of all, it's patronizing. People see right through it. I'm not asking you or saying or indicating that you jump on this guy. Again, we're all, myself included, we're not psychologists. We're not therapists. We don't know what is going on with this guy's mind. He might be laughing. He might be putting on an act. He may not be, but that's not our job. Their job is to ask questions. For example, I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head. Mr. Green, you've had several run-ins. You've had several suspensions. Why are we to believe, the fans who are watching this, who will watch this later, why are we to believe that you've changed? You're 33 years old. Pretty much the standard wording is you are what you are, no matter what you are, whether you're a basketball player, whether you're a garbage man, a plumber, a doctor, whatever. Why are we to believe now you, a guy who makes $25 million a year, going to change in 3 weeks? Nobody asks that question. The AP writer, Janie McCauley, asks foolish question after question. The supposed wonder kid, Anthony Slater of The Athletic, these are all basketball questions. Nobody asks anything. What have you been doing off the court? Are you going to continue to seek help even when you actually get back into a game? Have you spoke to, what kind of therapist? I'm not asking for the name of a therapist. I'm saying, you know, those kind of questions. We didn't get that. We got a bunch of little kids sitting in the class and talking to somebody as if it was like national, what's your occupation day? It's just a further illustration of how inane these guys are, and women and gals and all that. KNBR picked up the entire press conference, right? And Greg Papa, again, just a guy, an inane, weird guy playing Mr. Psychologist and telling us he's going to be okay, he'll be back and all that. Well, how the hell do you know that, Greg Papa? You don't know that. I don't know that. How can you say that with certainty? And every other word Mr. Papa used was antics. He must have used that word 20 different times, referring to Mr. Green's comments that he's got to put his antics off the court. To say it 20, 30 times. And for one, breaking news, I'm going to agree with John Lund, his enabler, Papa's co-host, who said he was very reluctant to buy any of this. That he said that for all he knew, that Draymond Green was putting on an act. And I agree with Lund, that we'll see when he gets on the court. Nobody knows how he's going to act. He hasn't earned any of our feelings that he's going to shape up. We don't know. Again, the guy might be a complete problematic crazy man. You're not going to change yourself in 3 weeks' time. I know from firsthand experience about a relative that I used to have. Doesn't happen. And that's part of my point. These so-called journalists, they shouldn't be there. This is not a sports deal. This involves a sports player. And to ask, they didn't even cross-examine this guy. They didn't have to do that. But they're sitting there like these nebbishes who don't know, and they shouldn't be there. All this hemming and hawing, like I said, I was waiting for the violin, somebody to come out and play the violin. Look, this guy's got to come out and demonstrate on the court his actions. To say categorically that he, like Papa did, that he's going to be okay, you don't know that. Hell, he might be a boy wonder. He might be the altar boy. He might be, Pope worthy. But we don't know that. And these nebbishes to sit in that controlled room environment and to look at him. Again, that's a difference between the New York and the Philly and the Boston media, is they ask hard-nosed questions. If you want to go there, they ask the tough questions. Meanwhile, in the Bay, and even LA, I'll give that to LA too. LA's got some really good newspaper writers and reporters. The Bay Area, are you kidding me? No, we had the fools. How do I know firsthand? Because I worked in that environment. I couldn't wait to cover news stories because I could get out of, we had better people. But now we have a bunch of nincompoops and Yamashas and it just, whatever. They don't know how to ask tough questions. They don't know the fact that they're dealing with somebody, talk about complex personality. None of these people are psychologists. I don't claim to be one. But If you're going to invite him there, Warriors, if you're going to have a press conference and you're putting the main culprit up there alone, then he's fair game. Then he should be asked the tough questions. And if he doesn't want to answer it, then he says so. Fine. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have the uncomfortable moment and the awkward moments as opposed to this, well, Draymond, what were you been doing? How have you been? What are you gonna do? It's kind of like that kind of a press conference. I'm sure it'll be online where you can go watch it. And it went on and on and on and on and on. And then it went on and on and on. Talk about a nothing burger. Oh, dear Lord.